Beneath the vast heavens, where fate bends like a blade, tempered in endless struggle, the path of immortality grows ever more treacherous. In the last chapter, Wang Lin stood at the edge of a storm, not of wind, but of will. Caught between ancient powers, karmic debts, and the silent gaze of those who lurk in the shadows of eternity, allies are uncertain, enemies unseen, and each step forward echoes with the weight of countless lives and grudges. The deeper he ventures, the more the boundary between life and death blurs, and the more the heavens themselves seem to resist his defiance. Now, as we enter recap Renegade Immortal Chapter 808-809, the tension coils tighter. Secrets long buried begin to stir, and the price of power looms ever greater. Will Wang Lin seize control of his destiny, or will the unseen forces of this cruel world drag him into the abyss? The legend continues. But at what cost? Before the heavens could stir, before the winds dared whisper, there existed a chariot, a weapon forged not for war, but for slaughtering gods themselves. And now, that ancient terror stood once more before Wang Lin. This was the final god-slaying war chariot in his possession. And also the most formidable of them all. Its very purpose was terrifyingly clear: to give birth to a treasure capable of ending the life of a celestial god. A suffocating pressure rolled out from the chariot like an invisible tide. The countless barbed thorns protruding from its surface pulsed with an ancient, desolate aura, as if they had tasted divine blood long ago. Its savage form alone was enough to chill the soul of any who gazed upon it. In the distant past, when Wang Lin had first encountered this monstrous creation, the pressure alone had nearly crushed him into submission. He hadn't even dared to use it. Instead, he had relied on inherited sealing techniques to suppress its power, locking it away like a forbidden relic. But now, he stood beside it calmly. Hundreds of years had passed, and in that time, Wang Lin had changed. His eyes slowly closed, then opened once more, gleaming with a quiet, resolute light. His hands moved in intricate patterns, weaving seals through the air as ancient incantations slipped from his lips, soft, complex, and heavy with power. Then, his left hand pressed against his right wrist. A surge of black light gathered instantly, coiling like a serpent around his right hand. Without hesitation, he drove that hand forward, pressing it firmly onto the god-slaying war chariot. The moment contact was made, the black light was devoured, and then a far more terrifying pressure erupted. The thorns across the chariot ignited with dark brilliance. That black light surged outward, merging together into a vast, engulfing radiance, as though it sought to swallow the very world. Before Wang Lin's eyes, the darkness condensed, forming 7 flickering runes, each one pulsing with ancient power. He stared at them, and memories surfaced. The voice of the chariot's creator echoed within his mind. The third god-slaying war chariot surpasses even my expectations. Should its master fully awaken its might, even a celestial god could fall before it with ease. A pause. Yet, it remains incomplete. It requires 3 materials: the mysterious mystery wing, the underworld culture wood, and the celestial butterfly soul. I was unable to obtain them, a regret I leave behind. If my successor finds them, let this regret be erased. Another pause, heavier this time. To make this third chariot recognize its master, one must merge with the 7 runes and refine it into a life-linked treasure. Only then can its true power be unleashed. Otherwise, even if the runes are fused, its full might will remain forever beyond reach. Successor, choose wisely. Choose carefully. The echo faded. Wang Lin's expression did not change. Back when he first learned of this, he had not taken it lightly. There was one kind of treasure that demanded absolute caution, a life-linked treasure. If an ordinary treasure lost the imprint of its divine sense, the wielder might suffer injury, but death would not follow. Even treasures nurtured within one's origin soul behaved the same. Destruction would wound, but not kill. The fragments he carried, the flying swords he wielded, all belonged to that category. But a life-linked treasure was different. If such a treasure were destroyed, at best, one's origin soul would fracture, leaving them gravely wounded. At worst, death would come without mercy. And yet, despite the danger, countless cultivators still chose this path. Because once a treasure became life-linked, its power would multiply several times over, and it would grow stronger alongside its master's cultivation. Wang Lin had seen records of such things. There had once been a cultivator who forged an ordinary flying sword into his life-linked treasure. As his cultivation soared, so too did the sword, until it reached a level beyond imagination. Wang Lin's gaze remained fixed on the 7 runes. This third chariot is not like the previous 2, he murmured inwardly. His right hand moved, tapping his storage bag. With a sudden roar, the mosquito beast burst forth into the open air. It hadn't seen the outside world for a long time, and now it surged with excitement, wings beating wildly as it circled the area, stirring fierce winds. Next came the thunder toad. It dropped onto the ground with a dull thud, its heavy body settling lazily. Its eyes were half-lidded, its entire posture radiating indifference, as if even the heavens collapsing wouldn't interest it. Then, a flick of Wang Lin's finger. The celestial sword trembled, and from within it, Shuligwo was forced out. Shuligwo's face lit up instantly, ready to unleash a stream of flattering words. But the moment his eyes met Wang Lin's cold gaze, he froze. Silence. Wang Lin's voice was calm, yet absolute. I will refine a treasure. No one is to come within 1,000 feet. Shuligwo immediately straightened, pounding his chest as he spoke with exaggerated sincerity. Master, you can rest easy. As long as I, Shuligwo, draw breath, not a single soul will step within that distance unless they walk over my corpse. Loyalty is my life. Loyalty is my Tao. No one can surpass me in this. But under Wang Lin's steady gaze, his voice gradually weakened. Then, he shut his mouth. Quietly, he retreated. Sneaking glances back, Shuligwo waited until Wang Lin's attention shifted before muttering to himself. Looks like my flattery has gotten rusty. Not smooth enough. Otherwise, how could that fiend frown after just a few lines? He scratched his chin thoughtfully. In the future, I must practice more. This is my greatest weapon. Even if I escape someday, it might still save my life. With that resolution, Shuligwo began pacing the area, mumbling under his breath. Master's spells are truly divine, like a celestial descended. Ah, such power! Truly groundbreaking. Eh? What is this? This aura. Master's treasure! Incredible, Master. You are the strongest cultivator I've ever followed. Joining you was the best decision of my life. As he spoke, his eyes lit up brighter and brighter. His words flowed more smoothly, more naturally. The mosquito beast, curious, passed by and caught fragments of his rambling. Though it didn't understand, something about the tone intrigued it, and it began circling Shuligwo, listening more closely. Meanwhile, Wang Lin ignored them all. He placed down layers of restrictions, sealing the surroundings. Only then did he relax slightly. His right hand rose, pressing between his brows. And then, his origin soul emerged. It took the form of an ancient thunder dragon, crackling with boundless lightning as it soared toward the god-slaying war chariot. Upon reaching it, the dragon circled once, twice. Then suddenly, it opened its jaws and devoured a rune. In that instant, a violent force erupted within his origin soul. The rune rampaged wildly, releasing waves of destructive energy. But Wang Lin's will descended like a crushing mountain. His power surged, pressing down mercilessly. The rune resisted. It didn't shatter. Instead, it exploded with even greater force. Had this been the Wang Lin of the Ascendant stage, his origin soul would have been locked in a brutal stalemate, unable to suppress it. But now, a cold snort echoed. Explosions rang out within his origin soul, each one amplifying the thunder within him. The lightning surged, multiplied, roared, and then it collided with the rune. A deafening boom. The rune shattered, but it didn't end there. The thunder surged forward again, crushing every fragment until nothing remained but essence, which fused into Wang Lin's soul. The first rune was complete. It had taken less than half an incense stick. Without pause, Wang Lin moved on. The second rune was devoured, stronger, more resistant. But still, it fell. This time it took the span of a full incense stick. His eyes gleamed. Without hesitation, he swallowed the third and fourth runes together. Time passed. An hour later, both were refined. Their mysterious power now flowed within his origin soul. Then came the fifth rune. The moment it was devoured, it erupted with ferocity far beyond the previous ones, flooding his origin soul with violent force. Wang Lin's eyes turned icy. His body coiled tightly as thunder surged through his being, wave after wave crashing toward the rune. Lightning struck relentlessly, again and again. 2 hours passed before the rune finally yielded, dissolving into his soul. At that moment, his origin soul dimmed slightly. Without hesitation, it returned to his body. He began to recover. Time slipped by. 5 days passed in silence. Wang Lin remained unmoving. Outside, Tashan and the clan's ancestor had arrived twice, leading many members of the chosen immortal clan, but none dared approach. The mosquito beast's howls, the thunder toad's presence, and Shu Liguo's sinister expression formed an invisible barrier. They lingered beyond the 1,000-foot boundary, whispering among themselves. Shu Liguo, however, had his own thoughts. His eyes gleamed as he licked his lips, memories of past mischief on planet Qingling surfacing. Temptation stirred. He even tried luring a few cultivators closer, but none paid him any attention. Instead, their gazes were locked on the god-slaying war chariot. Shock filled their hearts. They discussed in hushed tones, but even the ancestor, most knowledgeable among them, could not identify what it was. Only one thing was certain. The pressure it emitted made their souls tremble. Then, on the 5th day, Wang Lin's eyes opened. His right hand rose once more, pressing between his brows. The thunder dragon emerged again. This time, it flew straight toward the chariot, but just as it reached within 100 feet, a sudden cry rang out from beyond the 1,000-foot boundary. Before the heavens could breathe, before the earth could steady itself, something impossible unfolded. An origin soul, ancient, draconic, beyond mortal comprehension, revealed itself. And in that moment, every heartbeat in the surroundings seemed to falter. The members of the chosen immortal clan stood frozen, their gazes locked onto Wang Lin. To them, this was no ordinary cultivator. The very essence radiating from him carried the aura of primordial beasts, of a dragon that had once ruled the void. The old ancestor's eyes trembled. A storm of emotions churned within him. Reverence, doubt, fear, and something deeper, something buried in the bloodline of his clan. He stepped forward slowly, hands clasped with utmost respect, his voice trembling as if speaking to a being far beyond his station. Upper Celestial, this humble one wishes to. But before his words could even take shape, Wang Lin had already turned away. He did not spare the old man even a glance. His focus had shifted entirely to the war chariot. Floating beside it, his gaze fell upon the 6th rune. His eyes sharpened. Without hesitation, without the slightest pause, he devoured it. Then, as if swallowing the heavens themselves, he consumed the 7th rune. A collective breath was drawn. Every observer narrowed their eyes, their hearts pounding harder. What they witnessed was beyond understanding. And in that very moment, Shu Liguo moved. His eyes flickered with cunning as his body shot into the sky. He raised his hand, pointing fiercely toward the gathered clan members, his voice roaring like thunder. My master is refining a divine treasure. Unless you step over my corpse, none of you will take even a single step closer. His voice carried a force that shook the air, his expression resolute, his aura wild, like a storm that would rather shatter than yield. The ancestor's expression changed immediately. He stepped back several paces, bowing deeply. We will remain beyond 1,000 feet. We only seek to... Silence! Shu Liguo's roar cut through him like a blade. If you cannot step over my body, then do not even think of disturbing my master. My life was given to me by him. He dragged me out of despair, taught me the Tao, bestowed power upon me. Everything I have comes from him. His voice trembled with fervor. If anyone dares interrupt him, then I, Shu Liguo, will never allow it. His eyes burned. Not a flicker of fear, not a hint of hesitation. Even death held no weight before his loyalty. To the old ancestor, these words struck far deeper than mere defiance. His body trembled, because in those words he heard something else. His clan had once been servants of the Celestials. This spirit understands loyalty, the old man thought silently, his gaze softening with respect. And so does my clan. He looked at Shu Liguo again, admiration rising within him. To have such unwavering devotion, this upper celestial is truly fortunate. Beside him, Tashan remained silent, but his eyes grew complicated. It is not that we lacked loyalty, he thought bitterly, but those we served abandoned us. His gaze drifted toward Shu Liguo, unlike him, who served someone worthy. Meanwhile, Shu Liguo's dramatic display continued, full of righteous fire. Yet Wang Lin paid him no attention at all. Within Wang Lin's origin soul, thunder raged. It roared, crashed, and surged like a tempest, striking the final 2 runes as the refinement reached its most critical stage. Boom. Boom. Each strike of thunder echoed like the drums of fate. One rune began to fracture. Not instantly. but gradually, like a mountain being eroded by time itself. Beneath Wang Lin, the god-slaying war chariot pulsed, black light flickered, then grew, stronger, deeper, until it seemed capable of swallowing all light. When that darkness radiated outward, anyone who looked upon Wang Lin felt their minds tremble, as if standing before an abyss. The chosen immortal clan was shaken to its core. They could not steady themselves, not in body, not in spirit. As for Su Liguo, he continued his act. While no one watched, he sneaked a glance at Wang Lin, snorting inwardly. Humph, what's so impressive? Your grandpa Shu can do this too. Devouring runes? I've devoured people. His thoughts were full of disdain. Yet on the surface, his eyes shone with admiration, his face brimmed with devotion, his body even trembled, as if overwhelmed by awe. To any observer, he was the picture of a loyal servant, deeply moved by his master's divine power. Tashan sighed quietly upon seeing this. The complexity in his heart deepened. The old ancestor, however, nodded in approval, thoroughly convinced. The clan had been isolated for too long. Their experience could not compare. But Shu Liguo, with nearly 1,000 years of cunning, deception, and survival, was a master of adaptation. If he could be easily seen through, he would not be Su Liguo. Time flowed. Hours passed. And then, suddenly, the thunder within Wang Lin's origin soul surged to its peak. A deafening roar filled the void. And then, silence. Absolute silence. Wang Lin's eyes shone brightly. The final 2 runes were absorbed. Now, a decision stood before him. Should this become my life-bound treasure? As his thoughts lingered, the 7 runes fused. They gathered near his chest, forming a singular, unique symbol. At that instant, the black light from the war chariot surged forward and branded itself upon him. God-slaying war chariot? Release the seal! His divine sense exploded outward like thunder. The black light vanished into his body. The countless thorns shimmered, and from within, a shadow emerged. A colossal soul beast, nearly 1,000 feet tall. The moment it appeared, it roared. The heavens trembled. The ground quaked. The members of the chosen immortal clan turned pale instantly. The plants between their brows flickered wildly as they staggered backward. Even the strongest among them could not remain steady. The mosquito beast shrieked. The thunder toad swelled, preparing its ultimate attack. Only Shu Liguo still shouted stubbornly, "Unless you step over my..." But before he could finish, the soul beast turned its gaze upon him. Shu Liguo froze. His throat tightened. The rest of his words died instantly. Your grandpa, Shu, carries the inheritance of an ancient sword spirit. Once I fully absorb it, we'll see who fears whom, he muttered inwardly. Then, without hesitation, he retreated at full speed. In a blink, he was far away. Wang Lin remained calm, his gaze fixed upon the beast. His origin soul returned to his body, and he rose into the sky. The beast roared again, then lunged. Its speed was terrifying. In the instant it moved, it was already before him. Its maw opened wide, ready to devour, yet Wang Lin did not move. He did not retreat. Instead, he spoke softly. Collapse! Boom! The beast shattered. Fragments scattered across the sky, yet in the next moment, it reformed. Its eyes burned with hatred. It roared once more, and charged again. Wang Lin's voice remained calm. Collapse. Again, it shattered, and in Wang Lin's mind, the ancient jade's words echoed. If you bind it as a life treasure, it will obey. But if not, the 7 runes grant you 7 chances to break its will. If after 7 times it still resists, you must bind it, or lose it forever. The beast reformed again, more savage, more furious. It split into countless fragments, attacking from every direction. Wang Lin frowned slightly, then his eyes turned cold. It seems you have not suffered enough. Collapse! Collapse. Collapse. 3 commands, 3 destructions. The beast screamed, its pain unimaginable. If the collapses came one by one, it could endure, but 3 in succession shattered its will. Fear began to grow. Then, collapse, another strike. The fear exploded. It filled the beast entirely. When it reformed this time, its eyes no longer held defiance, only submission. It lowered its head, yielding. Wang Lin stepped forward. He stood upon its head, biting his finger. He pressed a seal upon it. The beast trembled. Its massive form shrank. Faster and faster, until it became a small cocoon of mist. Cracks spread across it. Then, it shattered. From within, a butterfly emerged, 5-colored, radiant. Its wings stirred, scattering shimmering dust, beautiful, beyond words. Even Wang Lin's eyes narrowed slightly, but at that very moment, below, the teleportation array flickered. A figure appeared. Clad in blue, eyes cold as frost. His body blurred as he rushed forward, reaching the gate in an instant, stepping out into the open. His gaze swept across the scene, and with a voice filled with disdain, he spoke. What is a lowly servant of this realm doing?